talk is about the TextAPI and TIDO, and we want to present it as an example of research software product development. My name is Mathias Göbel. I'm here with my colleague Paul Pestov. For reasons I'm going to elaborate in my part, I have to switch the microphone to Paul for a demo session because we are confident enough to demonstrate our web application. So, and we come from Göttingen State and University Library. That's important to say. Okay, so again, a little overview. I like to show how we came here, why we did this TextAPI and this architecture I'm going to present, and as I already said, demo is presented by Paul afterwards. So in the library, in the digital library department, we are mainly dealing with texts, mostly TI encoded texts. In many projects, we are creating digital scholarly editions, and our task is to display the results, to display the content, and to prepare web applications. So we are into creating user interfaces, and engineering user experiences. So in the last decades, we mainly created silo by silo by silo by silo, and we of course have to ask questions about the maintainability, the scalability, and of course also we have to question on the development costs of those silos. Especially when problems arose, we had to spend some time. So especially for 0 days vulnerability, remembering Log4Shell, for example, we spent about a week getting into our applications, our services, and to see what's affected ones and to update those services. And of course, those specific products, those specific web applications are, I cannot go further. Yeah, now it's working again, thanks. Those silos take the specific project requirements into account. And this is, of course, for the single project working perfectly, but in the end, we have all these problems I've showed. So we ended up with all those silos. We were working on this issue. We want to achieve maintainability, scalability, while also respecting each project's needs. So each application that once would have been developed as a silo should now move to a common infrastructure, and we also wanted to have a single client application, in our case, a viewer application, to strip down development costs. So the solution we are going to present here is our so-called TextAPI. And our TextAPI is mainly a specification of a middleware, because I'm focusing on backend development, and when I'm going to talk to, for example, my colleague Paul, who's our lead front-end developer, I'm basically do not understand anything when he's talking about composition API or whatever in JavaScript. And I guess he might not understand what I'm talking about when I'm going into details of reliability engineering. So we designed our text API as a middleware for realizing our successful communication. And the specification is quite small. We have a small set of mandatory metadata. We are using links to serializations of the text documents. We adopted a subset of the web annotation data model, which is a really cute feature in this setup. And for example, we are offering a validation tool online for text API documents. So, we have an archetype we were looking into for many years. This is the IIIF presentation API. So if you ever dealt with image data, you might have heard about. And IIIF presentation API is the archetype we were using. So we also set up documents alike the structure with a collection with manifest and item documents. So that's all from my side. I'd like to hand over to Paul for the demo session.
I hope it works like this. Yeah, thank you very much, Mathias. We would like to show you our demonstration projects. The first one will be the project of Ahikar. Ahikar was an ancient philosopher. And okay. This is how our final product looks like. As you can see, we have implemented a viewer for texts, which consists of different panel views, and we also have implemented the feature of annotations, as Mathias would show you. So the editors would annotate the text, and you can dynamically switch between the different annotation types. You can see the image, the scan of the text, and you can also see the collection tree, and you can also navigate on top between the different manifests and items. As I told you, this is a generic product, and we have implemented another project. It's color theory from Goethe, and it looks very similar but has a very different configuration. The project is about correspondence of Goethe between different personas, and the scientists here, the researchers, wanted to have a very different structure. They had different metadata, which are also dynamic, and they had different requirements on the text. So how did we came there where we are now? First of all, we of course implemented a prototype, and we began with an iterative approach to create a working piece of software in each iteration. So we heavily relied on quick releases, so we could gain feedback from our stakeholders, and we would quickly implement the needed features. We also implemented a full set of end-to-end tests in our front-end application. So our current iteration would not break the next iteration. So in that way, and also with the help of agile methods in our team, we could provide a solid solution for a variety of projects. As I showed you before, we had different configurations, and this is how you would start off. You would create different configurations for your implementation projects. This is a very short example. As backend developers, you would produce URL for your text API collection, which you would integrate here in the configuration object of the front-end application, which you can just instantiate in that way in your JavaScript file or on your web project. And we provide a variety of customization options, such as primary color, and we have a large set of options how to configure each panel that you saw. So the order of the panels, and also the content of the panels and their respective configuration options. And also we chose some of the keys that you where you can provide a translation. And for example, this is a dynamic key from the text API metadata that you would translate into the German language, for example. But also there are many more options to configure our viewer. Yeah. Next, I have an example of one of our generic solutions. How would we enable people to display text in a generic way? So, first of all, the text API gives us an HTML document where only the text is present in the HTML format. This comes with a support CSS file that also is provided then over the text API, which we then can render in the text panel that you saw earlier. As you can see, texts can have different formats, and all of this is a combination of the HTML and the CSS, custom CSS files that are provided from the backend, and we integrate it in our front-end solution. Furthermore, we then can display annotations to the text, and here we chose a JSON model where you would provide a custom target selector on the backend, which we then would pick up and connect the text with the annotations, so there can be an interaction between the two panels. So you basically can select an annotation and it will be highlighted in the text, and vice versa. So we learned over the years how to implement such solutions in a custom way, but in our TIDO viewer we combine all of those solutions to provide a generic solution to any edition project. Last but not least, we have an excerpt from our backlog that I would quickly show you. We still did not cover every text API feature, but we want to do it at 100%. The next big feature for us will be linking text and image. So you saw the annotations, but we want to extend that feature to be able also to highlight areas on the image where we could use the results, for example, from OCRD. We want to implement variants, and we want to enrich the support for I18N, so you can basically translate also the UI into your desired language. So it is not only English, but many more languages that you can imagine. Yeah, and we'd like to get in touch with you, send us some feedback, open an issue on our repository, and we are looking forward for your feedback. Thank you very much.